1, 2, 3, 4. Those are numbers. But you already knew that. If you want to know what number you're going to pay each month for your car, use Kelly Blue Book My Wallet on Auto Trader. They're really good at numbers. Auto Trader.
Welcome to 5 Live. The episode that you're about to listen to first aired on Instagram Live. It's a little bit different from a regular podcast episode. Have fun listening, but remember, it's a live broadcast, so things can get a little bit crazy. You can find 5 Live on Instagram at xoxo farmgirl, where you can join the conversation live and ask questions. 5 Live goes live on Thursdays at noon, so follow along and watch Instagram stories for announcements. You can also watch the entire episode on the xoxo farmgirl IGTV channel. But for now, here it is, the latest 5 Live in 3, 2, 1. And we are live. Welcome to Talk Farm to Me's 5 Live, where I ask a farmer 5 questions. I'm your host, Farm Girl, and today we are going to meet Ashton Zubal of Farmstock Farm in Kingston, New York. He is a vegetable farmer, and he is farming vegetables with his best friend, Nick, and Nick's wife, Sarah, and Ashton's wife, Michelle, as well. And they've got kids on the farm. I think there's 4. So it is an incredibly busy place. And I'm really excited that we get to talk with him today about his farming practices and what is happening on the farm itself. So I'm going to invite him right now.
Hello.
How are you? There you are. I can't believe you're in the greenhouse. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got to it's a nice break. Good time to do it too.
It's fantastic.
Hot in here, yeah.
I feel a little jealous. You look a lot warmer than I did this morning.
Yeah, I've been watching what you've been doing, man. That's a little bit different work than I do here, that's for sure.
Well, I was outside today and my gator was stuck in the snow because we have about 2 feet, and I was a little too confident, and I drove right in thinking that I could, clean my stalls and get the work done before I got here with you today. And well, it got stuck. And so my neighbor had to come, and he brought his big farm tractor and pulled me out. So now half the stalls are done, and hopefully I'll get back to it later this afternoon. I want to make sure that those of you who are following, that you follow Ashton and his farm on Farmstock Farm on Instagram. And I just want to mention and maybe give a little shout out to Sarah, who is the author of your Instagram.
I should clear some things up real quick, actually. Nick and Sarah left the farm.
Wow.
And it's been me since August, and so the witty person since August has been me.
All right. Well,
they just thank you. Yeah, Michelle and I keeping it going, growing. I was the vegetable grower anyway. Doesn't seem like they were cut out for the grind like that needs to happen.
No kidding. Wow, that's huge news.
So they actually left. Yeah, they left New York and everything. So
no kidding.
To go be with family and things like that.
Is not for everyone, and there's no harm. No. If it's not for you, you should certainly get out.
No, exactly. Yeah, and they did quite quickly.
They did.
Yeah. Pretty much, it was news to us, and it was a pretty quick transition for them, and so
no kidding.
So but we've been powering through, and there's been some really good advancements on the farm and different things like that. So it's like we not only didn't lose a step, I felt like we actually, sorry if they're listening, we actually lost kind of a weight, and I don't mean that in a when you're dealing with partners and stuff, sometimes there's devil's advocating just for the sake of devil's advocating.
Yeah.
that is a term. That's the industry term. Advocating. No, being devil's advocate and things like that.
Devil's advocates can be very helpful, but I understand 100%. Where you're coming from.
I feel, but not in the sake of just being it. if it's an idea, I think, like, let's say a team, for example, of four, it would be much more powerful if you all just agreed and went along with that a trajectory, and and all decided that's what you're going to do, as opposed to identify every little thing that could, you're just like, not that they did that. It's just more like, it's on the farm, decisions sometimes need to be made just like instant, and not having to check in is pretty nice.
Well, I think that
And
you've kind
so,
of covered one of the questions that came up, which was the pros and cons of working on a farm really closely with friends. So
yeah, and how deep we were. I mean, this is a 13-year relationship with me and Nicholas. You know what I mean? And you think, with the way the behavior and everything was on the farm, you'd think that we were tackling this together. And little did I know, and there was just like, little did Michelle and I know that there was this back end kind of conversation happening that that we weren't aware of, because we're in it. I
you were
mean,
just working, right?
yeah. Whereas this is it. And as far as what we're doing, as far as farming and growing, and like what we need to be doing, and how to progress and advance. And so,
Well, it's a lot of work and it's very personal when you're in it together. So
yeah,
I hope
it
you and
is.
Nick can remain friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's cordial, and I mean, I don't really talk to even my friends who I'm chummy with currently right now. It's pretty, it's pretty just head down in a dead sprint, because for us, because we grow 365 days,
Right.
it's both the beginning and end of the season. So it's like clean.
Wow.
Yeah, I already have our first tomato sprouts going. So
Oh my gosh, I see them. Hi, tomatoes.
yeah, man. So those will be our first greenhouse sauce tomatoes. I'm trying to beat July this year.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
So
So, well, anyway, that was big news. I was telling our followers here that they should definitely follow now Ashton at Farmstock Farm. I thought I'd also give a little shout out to you guys because you give great advice. And I made this tincture based on what you guys had on your Instagram. These are flowers from August. These are echinacea flowers and buds. And it is
yeah.
sitting in brandy, and it has been since August. So
Oh wow. Yeah.
yeah, it's an immunity tincture per your
Yep.
recommendation. And you can find a lot of really great things on Farmstock Farm's Instagram. So you should follow. And before we get any further on that, I thought we'd get started. We've already met Ashton's beautiful baby tomato plants. But Ashton, just give us a little bit of an overview of the farm real quick before we get into our 5 questions.
Yeah. So basically, we are a 3-acre farm, low till, and we're purely vegetables, fruits. I think our standout items, as far as what gets purchased the most, is our salad greens and our greens. Didn't ask for it, but apparently, you know, they're good. And our hot peppers are doing really well. And so, we pretty much grow a wide variety of the basics. Everything that every restaurant needs, every person needs in their house. I typically don't like to get too fancy, because it's really hard to get at places, especially in the climate the way it is now, with the pandemic, and so really focusing on the core products that you can use all around your meals, and interchange and things like that, is really the focus of our vegetable growing here.
Awesome. So one of the questions that came up was, as a vegetable farmer, you're always planning for what's next. And obviously your tomatoes are already started before we can even think about, fresh tomatoes. And I'm just curious, what, besides those tomatoes, I see some things growing in the background. What are you growing now? And what are you planning for, just in terms of next season?
Yeah, so what we're growing now behind me, to my left, we have Swiss chard, lacinato kale, winter celery, and then some baby greens, Asian mix, and then we have the kales over to the right, purple and green curly kale. Basically, those have been in the ground since last September, and those are the winter crops. And so luckily we had a really nice long autumn this year, beautiful autumn this year, that allowed us to kind of stay outside for the majority of the time. And
That's great.
yeah, and then we're prepping, just then once these turn over, it'll turn into greens, and then March, this house will be tomatoes and cucumbers.
Fantastic. So you're also planning not only from season to season, but you're always thinking about the next year that's coming. So tell us about some of the plans that you have now that it's, that Nick's not there and you're moving forward in your own emphatic direction. What's on the agenda for the future?
Oh man, I already get into the juicy stuff. I like it. So, yeah, we got a lot. Michelle and I have a lot planned and a lot to roll out. It's really an exciting time. So we've had to pivot and kind of think of different things, how to kind of broaden our brand and kind of re-examine like a farm as a business. You know what I mean? It's a cutthroat industry, even in the local place. No one, it's still a competition, so to speak. And getting into places just to try to sell your food is actually the hardest part. I thought growing the vegetables, quality was going to be the hardest part about farming, but it's actually distributing your own vegetables and consistently and getting them purchased. And so what that allowed us to do was re-examine where we were and what we were doing. So my brother is a coffee roaster and developed a couple of really good recipes. And so
I think he may have just joined us. Is that Preston?
Preston, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's here. Hey, Preston.
And so, yeah, man, and it turns out, in a short amount of time, he's turned into a pretty talented coffee roaster, and he can only learn from here. And so we developed a brand called Autonomous Coffee, and we've been selling it around Kingston, and you can buy it on our website, farmstockfarm.com. Wide range of roasts and blends, kind of testing them out right now. And we have and we also will be doing private labeling as well. And right before this joined, we got the email that our roaster is ready and it will be shipped to us within this next week or two. And so we built out a shipping container on our farm into a coffee roasting place, where we're going to do it and do all our whole production there. And so what that's going to do is what we're trying to do is close. The most powerful thing about farming is being autonomous, or your true autonomy to, whatever craziness is happening out in the world. Farming kind of cuts through all of that because it keeps you in the real, keeps you, like you said, in the future. It's almost hard to keep in the here and now because you are planning so far ahead. And so what we want to do is we want to open up a brick and mortar, which we're close. We had a deal fall through that we would have already been opened and doing that, but we want to make a natural grocery store here in Kingston, and
awesome.
A place that we can just consistently sell our own vegetables out of, sell our own coffee out of. We think that a business model of owning your own production, especially in a time like this, it will allow you to participate in this system, even if you don't agree in capitalism or whatever philosophical, economical way you want to go. You can actually own your own production and kind of be sustainable and be empathetic in your business practices, and still build out a scalable model that people might want to either franchise or model their own farm or business after. If you just like attach the right things to it, it could actually make farming a seekable venture for people, wayward, intelligent people who just don't want to do the regular stuff. Farming, actually, the growing part is not the hardest part. It's actually one of the most fun to figure out.
Yeah, farmers have to wear a lot of different hats. And I think it's really interesting that you're talking about this autonomy because at least two of the farmers that I have interviewed recently are really focused on that. The dairy farmer opening his own creamery,
yep,
making sure that he can sell his milk where he's not beholden to a cooperative,
yep,
pig farmer who's figuring out ways to sell meat where she's not really beholden to to a particular butcher, processing schedule. So it
Yep.
seems like there's a real trend among small farmers
Oh, we got to
to,
connect. That sounds, yeah, we'll connect after this. I want to see who they are.
yeah, no, they're doing some interesting things, but it's really echoing through a lot of the small farmers that I'm talking to. So that's
Awesome.
really interesting. I wanted to ask this question because I know that before you basically lived in a greenhouse. You were city guy,
Yep.
and now you're a farmer. And this isn't the first time that I've talked to city folks who have traded it all in. But I wonder if you could give me a couple of things that you miss from being a city guy, and maybe a few things that you have now that you would not trade it in for.
That's a good question. A couple of questions. What I miss about the city, honestly, not much. I got to be, we spent 10 years there. I was a few in LA, a few years in LA before that, and as far as time in the city, I would say it's a place like New York, for instance. Once you've learned all of the lessons that that place can possibly teach you, and you're still searching, it's a good time to get out. It's only going to stomp your face in even the more you try to something new, even though it's a feel good stomp, it hurts so good kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But then when you come up here, the lessons that the city teaches you is like how to properly spend your money, like what spending your money is worth to you. You know what I mean? Your time,
Right.
that's where the autonomy kind of comes in. It's just like in the regular jobs and the hustle and bustle, your time is so mistreated and not compensated for, and it's just one of those things that, too many things take up your time of proper thinking and proper meditation, so to speak. And but things I do miss, it's tough because I live in Kingston, and so like literally everything's out my door. I have Kingston has some amazing food. The Hudson Valley in general has just, stone's throw away is just brilliant food, pizza joints, cafes, bakeries. And so what I love most about the city, being around so much food, Kingston and the Hudson Valley is no shortage of it. If anything, it's more streamlined to the local butchers and farmers and things like that, and dairy farmers. And so it's I don't know.
Great.
I wouldn't trade it for anything, man. The Hudson Valley, especially, I think is, I don't know, coming from the West, definitely should be talked about more. Should be part of people's education. This is one of the most remarkable places that I've ever
Well,
been.
it sounds like you're living the dream, actually.
It's
Um,
mine, that's for sure. I don't know. It might be some people's
and it's
nightmare.
yours.
But
Congratulations on that.
yeah, thank you.
I want everyone to know I've met with Ashton before, right at the beginning of the pandemic when he and Nick and their whole farm was pivoting away from restaurants. Restaurants were closing. And we had a really powerful conversation, interesting conversation about not only what was going on in the pandemic, but sometimes I think you can look at a crisis and see that it's underscoring other problems that already existed. And one thing that we talked about, Ashton, and I wanted to go back to that for a second, was the idea of a regional food system.
Yeah, yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about that, what your thoughts are, what it is, what your thoughts are on it. Do we have one? How do we get one? That kind of thing.
Well, people are sure working pretty damn hard of trying to at least assemble some sort of something like that resembles a system. Uh, but what I've seen and read around the country, there's still red lines and food deserts, and there's just these things that like either on purpose or not. Different conversation there, but like what I do see is like it's still kind of a for such a developed nation, how we don't have a food system of how to properly allocate food. There's plenty of food. Properly is it's kind of shameful, you know. And then you ask how you do that, and yeah, it's localizing and regionalizing food. it shouldn't be the Wild West. Food should not be, even a business owner, I think food and health and things like that should just not be part of the capitalistic game, because food is health, and it's a necessity, and it just shouldn't be partnered with apps and tech, it's an unfair advantage there because the returns, we're selling vegetables, and so, um,
you're getting a lot of little hearts for all of this regional food talk.
oh,
Yeah, so I just want to remind you guys out there that you can ask a question. We're not quite done, but we have a few more things to talk about. And if you have a question, just go ahead. You can type it in the comments. You can type it in that little question bubble. So we had a lot of questions about cannabis, and certainly features heavily on your Instagram. I know that you've been able to sell some of it maybe at the market, but I'm curious, when we're talking about cannabis, we're talking about growing it for CBD purposes. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you get permission to grow it and how you maintain its proper levels so that it comes out as the right thing and not as something too strong?
Yeah. Luckily, a lot of the geneticists already kind of cap out the percentage of CBD that you can grow it to. No matter the nutrients, no matter what you do, it does have a cap. And so to maximize that's the part of the farmer, and weather. And the conditions. So that's why growing indoors under perfect conditions all the time will get you a much more clean, a much more powerful, more potent.
Is it cannabis season now? Are you growing some there in the greenhouse?
No. I'll be starting. What I will be doing is I'll be starting a lot of my seeds right now. There's some auto flowers out on the market, which for all you growers out there, cannabis is a photoperiod plant. So all you have to do is adjust the light when you want it to start flowering. So it's like an 18 and 6, 18 on, 6 off. And then when you want it to flower, it could be anytime you want it to, pretty much. You just switch it to 12 and 12, and then the timing you do it will all dictate like the potency and the quality that you're going to get and things like that. But
a lot of our followers were, saying, well, it's funny actually, either saying that they don't want to talk about the fact that they might use it. Not, maybe they're just a little shy. But other people were telling me how essential it is to maintaining sort of a level of lower anxiety if they have anxiety. Some other folks have told me that they're using it as a lotion or an oil on their body when their body is
back
sore
rubs
and
things like
hurting.
that. Yeah.
Someone here is curious that a lot of, asking about the CBD products, some of them don't even contain it at all. And I think, I don't know if that's true or not, and you can speak to that, but
some of them don't actually contain CBD is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what he's asking.
Oh, well, you should always go to a trusted person. Never go to your gas station for your CBD. It's all dog shit.
Words to live by.
All of it. If you do have any access to a local farm. So to answer your first question, how I'm legal to grow it is I grow under Hempire State Growers. So that's under Hepworth Farms. They're a 200-year-old establishment, and Amy Hepworth, guru, godfather of all, godmother, at least they're she's just extremely talented and extremely knowledgeable. And so that's who I grow under, and it's a cooperative, where it all kind of, everyone benefits from the harvest, that you do, and the participation that you put into it.
And what would you say are the best uses for CBD?
Well, CBD, I mean, some of the quickest ways, obviously, is you can get some vegetable glycerin or like Everclear. And what you can do is you grind it up, coffee grinder or, Vitamix, something like that. And then you just kind of, you can, like you're making a tincture, you just let it sit, and then you'll sift it out, extract it. And yeah, just like that. And then what you'll do is you strain it. And then you can actually use that in your food and things like that. And the longer you let it sit, so like 2 weeks, I would say is the minimum. So it can actually be, actually have some qualities to it. And you can, that's an easy thing to do. We do pre-rolls, and so, which means they're just pre-rolled joints. And so you can smoke them. So the people who, don't mind smoking, my wife finds a lot of benefits in it as far as the anti-anxiety and things like that. And no, it's not like marijuana, like THC. It doesn't give you any psychoactive feeling, nothing like that. It's just I can't explain it because I like THC, and so CBD is more like my brain's just like, come on, man, And so like I don't feel the effects of CBD as like my wife and like I have friends and other people who absolutely love either smoking it. My mother-in-law uses a topical lotion. She was in a car accident and has like aches, and she says it's not a placebo. Like it actually, lessens the pain and makes her feel good.
Right, right. That's what I've heard from some of our followers.
Yeah.
One question came up from somebody local in Kingston, and they think that maybe they've seen you before. Maybe not on the farm.
Sure. Maybe not on the farm. I mean, me and my family, we're before, especially pre-pandemic, we were always out and about socializing and eating out. We love the restaurants here, love the life. And so,
his question was a little more specific. He wanted to know if you were an actor or something like that.
Yeah, I am. I don't know where you would have.
You're not. This isn't an act, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's this is a green screen behind me, actually. No, I have no idea where you might have seen me, but not like famous or haven't done anything cool or anything. But yeah, I mainly a voice actor, which I still keep up and represented by agents and managers and stuff. And
That's awesome. It's been really great being here with you today, Ashton, and your baby tomatoes and whatnot. And
yeah,
I have one last question for you because well, I just like to ask one question of everyone I talk to, and that is, after a really long day, besides the THC or the CBD, if you're going to have a cookie or a cocktail, which one would it be?
Cookie.
All right. What kind?
I mean, classic chocolate chip, pretty much. It's just cookies and milk.
Straight up
cookies and milk is just.
All right, and I'm going to make some cookies and send them your way for all the hard work that you're doing. Oh,
that's too kind of you. This being on here is a treat enough, but thank you. But I do want to say one more thing about the regional food.
Go ahead.
Is anyone who's listening, start postulating this to people who might know even policies of how to make this happen. To regionalize the food, your local farmers, how do you get the local farmers subsidized even partially by the local government so we can keep at least partial our food here where we grow it? Because we have, like, the farmers here behind me have to go to the city to sell the way they need to sell. It's just, there's just not that need here, but we do need their food. He grows remarkable food. That's such a great
call to action, honestly.
Talk to your local representatives. Is this an idea? Can this happen? Farmers are subsidized for all the Monsanto stuff, wheat, corn, and soy. If we regionalize it, can we subsidize a farmer even volunteer a portion of their land? Then they'll get subsidized for it. Not even their whole crop, unless they want to. But there has to be something for the farmer. We're always it just seems like getting into this that like it is true. It's just we get farmer when it should not be you're a farmer. We get like felt bad for, or it's such a good thing you're doing, and it's come do farming and you will not talk like that ever again. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's like, it's a business. It's one of the most gnarly things you can do. And I'm just a vegetable farmer. I'm not even talking dairy, cattle, or yeah, you know, livestock, anything like that. And yeah, we just need a lot more help. And subsidizing would be actually one of the biggest ways that could be done policy wise.
Well, it's a great call to action. And if you think about it while you're listening, um, if you want to turn around and get some great vegetables from your own local area and you can't get them because those vegetables have been shipped to a big city or have been shipped across the country or have been shipped out of the country, what can we do to keep some of our local food more local so that everybody has access? And it's a great call to action, Ashton. It's something we should all be thinking about.
Great.
I have a couple other, just a little business because we had a little drawing this week for Talk Farm to Me Cup. I'm going to send you one, Ashton, with your cookies so you can have some milk. But
Oh,
I'm
that's
drawing
awesome.
names. Thanks for participating. And I just want to let you guys know, I'm going to do a little poll about who's going to be on next week, what kind of farmer. So you get to vote on the kind of farmer that you'd like to hear from. And in 2 weeks from today at noon, we are going to hear from Swanton Berry Farms out in California. They grow strawberries and vegetables, and they are the first organic farm to join a labor union, really to take care of the farm
Wow.
workers that work on their farm who come from Mexico. Super interesting risk that they've taken and really leadership. And we're going to talk to their farmer who's been there for over 30 years. His name is Jim, and I think you'll all find it really fascinating. But stay tuned for the poll for next week. And no further ado, the Talk Farm to Me mug goes to Red Eft Farm in Massachusetts. So I'll be sending this mug their way. And again, I just want to say thank you, Ashton, to you and to all of the great work that you're doing there, persevering and innovating. We wish you luck with your brick and mortar project, which sounds
Thank you.
incredible. And I want to thank everyone who's joined us today. Thank you for adding your questions beforehand. Thank you for every little heart or emoji or thumbs up and your questions today as well. We look forward to seeing you guys for 5 Live next week, Thursday at noon. Talk to you guys soon.